Hello, Trash Talkers!
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the last episode of the Trash Talkin podcast.
No.
Today's episode and structure will be quite different to the ones that we are used to. So we dedicate each episode to a different European country involved in the Primus project. And we also bring an expert guest who provides us with their knowledge and opinion. But today, it will be quite different.
Today we will have other special guests who are an essential part of this podcast, the Trash Talkers. Stay tuned and don't miss the small gift that we have prepared for all our listeners.
As we always say, we will demonstrate that talking about sustainability is interesting and necessary.
And in case you still don't know, just a reminder that this podcast is produced by the Primus project, where 12 European organizations are working together to recycle plastic for car parts and home appliances.
So, let's start and enjoy the last episode of Trash Talking.
Yep, let's get started. As we said, this is the last episode of Trash Talking, and I am actually quite sad about it.
Yeah, me too. It went by so fast.
But we still have today's episode, so let's take advantage and wrap up what we have learned, why we started doing this, and give you listeners the chance to participate somehow in this project.
We have never talked in depth about the Primus project, which is basically what made it possible to release this podcast. To explain it in a simplest way possible, we are a consortium of 12 organizations from 6 different European countries developing a project financed by the European Union. The project started in May 2022, and we have 3 years to achieve our goals.
Exactly. And our main objective is to reform secondary plastics to become the primary raw material choice for added value products. So, in other words, we want to come up with an effective recycling method to obtain materials that will be suitable for challenging applications like car and refrigerator parts, for example.
This is our primary goal, but we will develop other technologies and solutions along the way. For example, methods to get rid of dangerous elements of the plastic, an effective way of tracing the recyclable plastic all along the value chain, and a lot of other things that you can discover in our website and social media channels.
In general, we always talk about recycling, but not the extremely complicated challenge it is. Sometimes it feels as simple as putting your trash in the recycling bin and there it goes, straight to recycling. But I'm sorry to tell you that this is far from reality.
Exactly. Among all the challenges of recycling plastic, one of them is the diversity of plastic types. There are several kinds of plastic, each with its unique composition and recycling requirements. So this variety complicates the sorting process because not all the plastic can be recycled together. Ensuring the right plastics end up in the correct recycling stream is such a big challenge.
Yeah, and in a smaller scale, we have tackled that with the expertise of our partners and by ensuring the right relations and communications among different actors in the value chain, from collectors to recyclers and also manufacturers. But as you said, Carolina, in reality, it still needs to be figured out. And another important challenge is making sure that the recycled plastic we are placing in new products fulfills the necessary technical requirements, but more importantly, that it is safe to use.
Yeah, some plastic contains hazardous substances that are added to ensure their optimal performance. But if we want to use them in other products after recycling the material, it is essential to get rid of them.
And that's it.
Also because otherwise those plastics won't be compliant with current legislation. So cleaning and sorting plastics properly is crucial to maintaining the integrity of the recycling process and outcome material.
Yeah, and these are, among others, some of the issues that we are trying to tackle in Primus. So far, the results have been great, but we still have half of the journey ahead of us.
Yep. I'm sure we will successfully achieve our goals. We are hardworking and optimistic.
Of course, and we have such a great consortium.
Yeah.
Hope you found this first section interesting and that you could get to know a bit more about Primus and what plastic recycling entails.
So let's keep going with the next section. Get ready.
Carolina, I'm so excited for this part.
Yeah, me too. So nice that we came up with this idea.
And so nice that our listeners get the chance to participate in the podcast somehow.
Okay, so for the last chapter, we wanted to prepare something special. And we thought it would be a good idea to ask you sustainability related questions that concern the Primus project. You have the chance to let us know about your experience and opinion this time. So you are the expert guest now.
For that, we came up with 3 interesting questions that will make us reflect, and maybe they will even give us useful insights for the development of the project. We have decided to make each question to a different trash talker, and they will answer the questions personally.
We have asked the first question, which is the following. If we told you that there are two same cars, but one of them has components made up from recycled plastic, and therefore it has lower carbon emissions and it is more sustainable, which one would you choose? Would you doubt about its safety or its quality only because it contains recyclates?
Hello, my name is Sofia. I'm 22 years old and currently living in Madrid and finishing my degree in biomedical engineering. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to participate in your podcast. And regarding your question, if you put it like that, I would obviously choose the one with recycled materials, which is more sustainable. But I've seen cases like this in real life, and people tend to choose the other one because they doubt the quality of the one with recycled plastics. In my case, and thanks to my background in engineering, I have been able to see firsthand how the new technologies are using recycled materials more and more every day and how they are succeeding in it. So this said, I have really no reason at all to not choose the one with the more sustainable option, as it's probably also going to be cheaper. I will be helping the environment, and it's going to work exactly the same as the newer one.
Another question. In a previous episode, we talked about how we should shift our mindsets and start thinking of waste as a resource rather than something that simply loses value. First, have you ever thought of waste as a resource? And considering that approach, we were curious to know what actions you would be willing to take if you knew that the material you are throwing away can be reused or recycled in other products. So, for instance, would you be willing to separate more or take the waste somewhere else?
So, I will go through your questions one by one, starting with if I have ever thought about waste as a resource. Well, since my godfather has his own production firm where he uses up to 70% recycled material to build new products, I got into contact with the circular economy very in early years on, and realized how big already the impact of such reusable waste can be. Now I have many friends who are looking into ways how to build ventures out of the of waste into the circular economy. So there is a really big business opportunity and will grow, I think, heavily in the next years. And since I know how this waste can be reused, I'm looking way more into how I, for example, separate the waste in my daily life. So I mean, starting in the own household, and I think if I knew even better how other things, for example, cell phones or materials, metals and stuff like that would be reused, I would even take it into more consideration when bringing that one to the waste too. And elaborating a bit more on that, there is a kind of a paradox that if I have to bring certain waste, for example metals or heavy rocks, to bins, to throw it away, I have to go in Germany to a certain place where I have to pay for the waste I'm leaving behind because it's special waste. And I think that's a bit contradicting, because I know that this waste is going to be sold to somewhere else where they will build new products, new stuff out of it. So what I want to say is I would be even more willing to take on longer ways and more costs to dispose all my waste if I would get something in return. So, for example, I guess in the future there will be business models where I, as a consumer, will sell my waste to someone who is producing new stuff out of it. And then, of course, I'm willing to do some extra steps.
So, last but not least, we have asked, have you ever wondered about the origins of the products you use daily? If that information was easily accessible to you in a detailed way, would you like to have it? And until what extent do you think it is important to have transparency in the products you buy?
So, hi everyone, my name is Sofia. I'm from Italy and I live in Milano. I do consultancy for sustainability and climate change, and I studied food engineering at Polytechnic in Milano. In both my experiences, I had the opportunity to understand the importance of traceability and transparency of production supply chain, not only in the food system, where that is my field, but in every field of consumer goods. For example, when I buy some clothes, I want to know how they were produced, where they were produced, how they were transported to the production facility and then to the warehouse and to the shop. Also, my job is related to understanding the sustainability of a product, of a process, and certifying it. For example, using the life cycle assessment to deposit an environmental product declaration, which is like a certification of the product and sustainability of a product. Very similar to the passport, the ID passport. I think it's very important, and people need to be more aware of what they consume and they buy. And it's not just something they can do, but something the industry and the policymaker should push very much. Because once there's on the package of a product the information of the origin and the production behind the product, the consumer is more involved and engaged in looking up for the information and be conscious and aware of what they are using.
It has been very interesting to share this time with all of you. So thanks to our listeners for being part of this project and participating in the podcast.
Yes, it had been very nice talking to you all and a great way to finish the podcast. Thank you a lot.
It's time to wrap up, but not without reminding why we started this podcast.
Our goal was to share some knowledge about waste management and sustainability across different European countries.
And we have tried to share this information in the most entertaining and exciting way.
Hopefully, we have motivated you to learn more and keep yourself updated. Another goal of the Primus project is to increase public awareness. So we share a lot of information in our social media, so make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We also have Twitter and LinkedIn, where we share more technical information about the project.
We would like to invite you to join our citizen stakeholder community. If you are a member of the wider community, either a conscious individual or part of a collective, like a consumer association, for example, or also if you are interested in knowing how plastic recycling and Primus will help protecting the environment, you need to join our citizens community to obtain timely information about Primus activities, events, surveys, and much more.
So go to our webpage or the link in the episode bio and make sure to join our community and subscribe to our newsletter.
With that being said, I guess we've finished today's episode, right, Carolina?
I'm afraid we have.
It has been a pleasure to be able to create this podcast. We have
Yes.
also learned a lot when preparing and recording the chapters, so thank you.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you to all our guests who have joined us in each episode. We are really glad and that we have been able to bring your insight and expertise to the audience.
But Primus is not finished yet, so make sure to follow us to stay up to date.
We will keep sharing what we discovered, and hopefully we can all work together towards a more sustainable future.
Of course. See you soon. Bye, Trash Talkers.
See you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank
bye.
you. There is a little surprise at the end.
Yeah, wait for it.
This podcast series is funded by the European Union. Views and opinions expressed are, however, those of the authors only and do not necessarily reflect those of the European Union or HADIA. Neither the European Union nor the granting authority can be held responsible for them. Now the surprise.
Ah, ¿ya has empezado?
Claro. Across Europe. Our goal...
And in order... Carolina.
Three ever matter. And of course...
Of course.
Of course.
Ah, ya.
Claro.
Ah, perdón.